Hello and welcome to Euroman's Movie Report, and firstly, Happy New Year and welcome to 2012. This week, of course, I have watched the film Real Steel, starring, among others, Hugh Jackman, who is the major star in this film. Real Steel is based on a 1950s sci-fi short story with, of course, a modified plot for this universe it takes place in. It's basically about that in 2020 the world of major professional boxing has changed from human boxers to robot boxers, and I'm talking about these very tall automatons. They are not aware, as Arnold would say, but they are controlled by operators who ferry them around to different events, and there's even a world champion boxing for robots. And in this universe we meet Hugh Jackman's character, who used to be a world famous boxer who had then gotten out of the game after things had changed, and then gotten into this robot boxing. And in the beginning of the film we find him down on his luck. He's fighting in some sort of country fair with a scrap of a robot and against some sort of old boxing adversary played by this guy. I don't remember his name, but he used to be this. He has played this southern douchebag before, and of course this fight ends badly, and he has to run away because this Confederate douchebag, he has this posse, as it's called, who wants to beat him up because he owes this Texas guy money. And then he learns that, Hugh Jackman's character learns that, of course, that the woman he said goodbye to 11 years earlier, she has died in some sort of, I don't remember if she had died because of illness, or was it a traffic accident, but that doesn't matter. And she has left him their 11-year-old son, who Hugh Jackman's character had walked out on 11 years earlier. And then, of course, he attends the custody hearing, and then his sister-in-law, she wants to take custody of Hugh Jackman's character's son, but which he isn't reluctant he is not reluctant to deny this, because he doesn't want to have anything to do with this kid. And then, but for some reason he makes a deal with her new husband that he wants to take him for the summer, take the kids for the summer, and together they go out on an adventure, and there his son is of course interested in this robot boxing, and one day they find this this old sparring bot called Atom at a scrap yard, and they turn it on, and then it turns out that this Atom robot is very talented at boxing, and it has some sort of mime function, as they call it, so it can mimic movements, and this of course is very useful later in the film. I'm not going to divulge the plot here completely, so you should go check it out. Yeah, well, I went into this film with a mixed feeling. I thought it was gonna be one of these semi-crappy films, but it felt like, if you combined Transformers, Rocky, and if you guys are as old as me, you of course remember the 1980s films Short Circuit 1 and Short Circuit 2, about this this Wall-E robot, look-alike robot, you know, Wall-E from the later Disney film, that comes alive, and I think the close connection between the robot Atom and Hugh Jackman's character's son, and there's a scene in the film where Hugh Jackman as character and his son leaves Atom sitting, and I was almost expecting Atom, the camera focuses on Atom in a very long window, and I was the time window, and I was personally expecting that Atom was supposed to turn his head to move his head after they had gone, but I don't know. Maybe he is aware, as Arnold would say in the Terminator films. But that maybe they are gonna divulge this in the sequel, which according to IMDb comes out in to theaters in 2014. But again, it was a fairly good film. I had heard many negative things about it, especially about how the acting by the kid. But in my opinion, he played fairly good his part as this son of this fallen boxer Hugh Jackman, and he played with a surprisingly high level of enthusiasm, in my opinion, and I must say I was impressed by the kid's acting, and that was okay in my opinion. Hugh Jackman, who we had gotten used to seeing in the X-Men films, but like the disaster Wolverine from was it 2009, he did an okay job here. It was like he didn't have to become the superhero. He was more regular. It was more like watching him in Australia than watching him in X-Men, and I think Hugh Jackman he did a fairly good job. And of course, when there's the animatronics, and the animatronics, they were, in my opinion, as good as in Transformers. Of course, the robots didn't, but they didn't seem the robots. They didn't seem two-dimensional. They were okay, and for instance, also the scene. One of the fight scenes at the giant arena with all the audience and all the banner ads, and of course, if you're very aware, you would catch that in one of the fighting events, there's a billboard which displays an ad for Microsoft Xbox 720. And that was very fun to watch, of course, and of course, like in this film, there were many other cool gadgets like transparent computer screens, like the ones we saw in Avatar, and there was also a transparent Nokia cell phone which Hugh Jackman's character uses, and that was quite fun to watch. But all in all, a good film, a cool story, also a heartwarming story in the whole relationship between the dad, Hugh Jackman's character, the son, and the bots, and it was very well put together, and I liked the film. So if I'm gonna rate it, I would say 4 out of 5 Coca-Cola bottles, because it was fairly good acting, a good soundtrack, and good effects, and a good story, of course. So 4 out of 5 Coca-Cola bottles. So that's basically it. Euroman of Euroman's Movie Report signing off, wishing everyone here a pleasant weekend, and I'll return next week with a review of the sci-fi slash maybe horror film, The Darkest Hour. Until then, this is Euroman of Euroman's Movie Report signing off, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.